Welcome back to our Diwali special. In the last episode, we spoke about why gold is such an important part of our Diwali celebration, from sentiments to smart investing. Today, we are going one step further. Kishore sir, such a pleasure to have you back with us. So, in the last episode, we talked about gold, but we are also curious about silver. तो सिल्वर की स्टोरी क्या है?
It's been ancient metal, but of late सिल्वर का जो रफ्तार है वो तो बहुत ही गोल्ड को भी मतलब इट हैज़ क्रॉस्ड गोल्ड ऑल्सो. दिस ईयर सिंस जनवरी सिल्वर इज़ अप बाय अराउंड 68%, close to around 70% in Indian terms. One of the reasons for this is after a long time silver का production today is lesser than the demand.
Yes.
So there is a shortage of the metal. We call it primary shortage. मतलब the actual production is lesser than what the actual consumption is. So generally in that times what happens is you consume from the inventories. जो पुराना माइन किया हुआ है गोल्ड किसी के पास पड़ा है वो सब है. So you tend to pay higher for that. So why this sudden shift is because silver has become a large industrial metal also along with the being a precious metal. So silver is not known for jewelry and all. So there's a हिप कल्चर में ज्वेलरी होता है थोड़ा बहुत. एक्चुअली इंडियन सम ऑफ द लोअर इनकम ग्रुप्स का ज्वेलरी होता है बट जनरली इट्स नॉट अ प्रिफर्ड ज्वेलरी वे. इंडियंस प्रिफर सिल्वर एज मोर एज अ सिल्वर वेयर इन द सेंस आप प्लेट्स खरीदा है, स्पून्स खरीदा है या यू हैव घर का ऑर्नामेंट्स मतलब इन द सेंस जो डिस्प्ले पीसेस है ऑल दिस मोर ऑफ दिस. But the bigger story is it's one of the biggest raw material used in silver is used in solar plates. So renewable energy का story है, EVs का story है and new battery technology का story है. ये सब में silver का usage बढ़ गया है. And in some cases where gold is used in some of your devices, your circuit boards etc. all the electronic circuit boards, high-end digital devices में gold use होता है. So because gold became so expensive, it is now replaced with silver. So silver also takes some of these places. So suddenly the surge in industrial demand along with investor returns caused this super cycle of silver. So even यहाँ से अगर आप पूछेंगे कि सिल्वर या गोल्ड में विच यू विल प्रेफर फॉर द नेक्स्ट 12 months, सिमिलर स्टोरी है. अगर गोल्ड 10%, 15%, 20% बढ़ेगा तो सिल्वर इसका 1.5 times एक्स्ट्रा बढ़ेगा.
Right.
Gold we are expecting around 20% rise in the next 1 year or so, but silver we are expecting 30% rise. But it will always follow gold in the direction.
Okay. Yeah. And most of the people are shifting their festive budgets from gold to silver. What is your take on that?
Yes, affordability point of view, yes, you can buy little more, of course, at least 60 times more silver than gold in the same amount of money. But one has to understand the different dynamics of these two. Number one, gold is a safety metal. Gold performs very well when the global environment is bad or geopolitics is troubled. Silver is a more volatile this thing. You need to have guts to hold it because it falls 10-15% in a day also, it rises by 10% in a day also. So you need to have the guts to see this ups and downs. Number two, gold has a purpose, you can wear it. Silver generally ends up in a locker. It doesn't have any other purpose. And when you are going and selling it back, again silver because it's a quantity, because in 10 grams worth of gold, you'll be able to buy 600 grams or 700 grams worth of silver, if not even a kilo of silver. So today it's 10 grams of gold is close to about a kilo of silver. So if you have bought let's say 500-600 grams of even 100 grams of gold, you have a small biscuit on your hands and you can just sell it. But when you are carrying silver, it will be kilos of silver you are carrying. So weight to value ratio, it doesn't match. So your perspective is an investor, then go for silver ETFs. Again, it's a paper format, you can easily buy and sell. But generally, if you are a stable investor, you don't want your blood pressure to go up and down, gold is a better one. But if you are a dynamic investor, you don't bother about risk, but you want a higher return in compensation of that, silver will be your absolute favorite.
And what is the global silver story?
Globally, silver is again pushed a lot into the what do you call battery chemistry or again solar panels. So both renewable as well as EV has a close linkage to silver demand. So the entire silver dioxide and all silver coating which happens on solar panels, which it's a silver dioxide. Basically,
Okay.
silver is used there. In many of the circuitry of EVs, silver is an essential part in chip making and all. So there is a lot of industrial usage of silver, and people want to secure as much silver as possible, and there's a lot of less silver which is getting produced day by day.
So, if someone is having gold in their portfolio, does it really make sense to add silver in it?
Yes and no. So yes is because if you want additional returns that actually is being generated by silver, you should add little more silver. So depends on how much gold you have. So typically in a portfolio, if I'm looking at a portfolio perspective and leave the jewelry part aside, then people will tend to have around 0% to 5%, which I see in general in Indian portfolios. If you go to global portfolios, this range goes to around 10 to 15% also in a professional setup where the investor is a professional, he understands the asset allocation, etc. etc. In a general terms, we Indians consider the jewelry at home as part of gold, so we actually don't put gold as a conscious part of the portfolio. So आप बहुत ही कम लोगों को जानते होंगे कि जिनका एक्चुअली 1 lakh rupees का portfolio, out of that I have 10,000 rupees worth of gold. No, because they say that 1 lakh rupees is for stock market or some kind of my investing. I have 5 lakh rupees worth of gold at home, so I already have gold. But we have to be very clear that that gold is not your investment, because that's your ancestral asset which is coming to you, and it is become an ancestral to your children. So you are not going to sell it off. So I don't consider anything which is not being sold in my lifetime as an asset anyway. It's investing nahi hai wo. So if you have 5-10% of gold, you can add another 5% of silver. If you actually don't have any gold and silver in your portfolio, then add gold only to start with. So my suggestion is, if you are a youngster, keep 10 to 15% gold. If you become older and older, you can go up to 30-35% off also. So gold adds more safety to your portfolio. As you become older, you need more safety and security, so gold becomes much better. And as you're dynamic and young, you might be able to willing to take more risks. You can add silver to that, because silver is slightly more risky, but it will come with additional returns. So you can have 10 to 15% of gold and a 5% of silver, or 10% gold and 5% silver. So that's typically not more than 15% of your investing portfolio.
And how do we invest in silver as an investor?
As an investor, of course, the first thing Indians love is to go to a jeweler and buy a silver bar or something like that, which I really don't suggest. But because handling of silver is slightly different, because it's heavy, and you have to keep it somewhere, and then when you are going back and selling it back, again the pieces of silver coins tend to lose color, and then all those issues will be there. Silver ETF is the easiest and most sophisticated way of investing. So you can, there are multiple ETFs. More or less the cost of everything is more or less similar, so you can buy anything in that way. And if you're an absolute short term trader, like you want to buy it for a month or 2 or 3 months, then MCX derivatives, the futures and options, become an extremely viable alternative for that. You can really trade with a very, very small amount of silver also. 1 kilo of silver also you can trade with a very small amount of investment under 5,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees also you can actually trade silver. That becomes absolutely this thing, because why I'm assuming is, because if you want to invest in silver, that means you are willing to take that speculative risk. You are willing to take that risk. So derivatives becomes much easier instrument for that.
And out of curiosity, if I have 20,000, what should I invest in? Like in gold or in silver? What would you suggest?
I think अगर धनतेरस के लिए आप 20,000 लेके जाना चाहता है, तो probably see, my theory is, if you want to invest any amount, 70% should be in gold and 30% should be in silver, because the 30% silver will give you a same amount of return as 70% of gold. So in return terms and risk terms, both become equal.
Right.
50-50, but the amount will be 70% gold and 30% silver. So that means around 15,000 rupees worth of gold and around 5,000 worth of silver in a 20,000 rupees will be a good mix.
Okay. Kishore sir, thank you so much for sharing your insights with so much clarity and warmth. You always have this wonderful way of turning complex situations and complex questions into simple and meaningful takeaways. Thanks for watching. This festive season, make your celebration shine brighter. Invest smartly in gold and silver. Wishing you a sparkling Dhanteras and a joyous Diwali.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.